While sirens blared, Håkon raced down the metal stairs, fanning scorching fumes as he hollered for his crew to evacuate. He found driller Kevin Mitchell, whose chest heaved while oil dripped from his face and extremities.
"Is everyone out?"
Håkon hollered above the din of gushing oil and rattling pipes. Kevin flung black sludge from his mouth.
"I didn't see Henry."
Håkon pushed Kevin toward the stairs.
"Go. I'll find him."
Covering his mouth with a rag, Håkon struggled to breathe as the overpowering fumes singed his lungs. He found Henry clinging to the shutoff valve, like a sea captain struggling to keep his ship afloat.
"It's jammed!"
Henry screamed, banging his fists against the wheel.
"I can't turn it off!"
Håkon joined him, and they grunted and cussed over the valve. Why was it so hard to turn? An explosion rocked the ground. Henry screamed, and Håkon looked up to see a fiery inferno racing down the tunnel toward them. Without a second thought, Håkon shifted into protector form, hovering over Henry while turning the stubborn wheel until it snapped and spun, closing off the pipe. He snatched the screaming human up in his arms and raced down the hall, fire snapping at his heels and singeing the hair off his backside. He jumped from one platform to the next, swinging like an ape with Henry under his arm, until they were several yards above the flames. He laid Henry on a metal grate, then wiped sweat from his furry brow. Great ancients, he'd exposed himself to a mortal. Worse, there were security cameras all over the facility. But what other choice had he had? The platform groaned and rocked beneath them. Håkon was too heavy. He looked down at the fire below, and then over at the men in the control booth, gaping at Håkon as if they were in a waking nightmare. Draping Henry across his shoulder, he swung onto the bridge and laid him by the steel door to the control room, pounding on the door for them to let him in, and accidentally making a huge dent in the center. They wouldn't open the door with him outside. He jumped onto a nearby platform, relieved when the door opened, and they dragged Henry inside. He stumbled back when another explosion rocked the rig. A wave of shrapnel flew at him, the chunks of steel embedding in his fur and knocking sight out of one eye. He let out a roar as pain lanced through him, and then he stumbled again when the metal grate beneath him gave way. He fell on the platform below with a sickening crunch, the scorching metal burning his fur and branding his flesh. The platform buckled, and he crawled toward the exit, praying to the ancients to help him escape. He choked on smoke and fumes. His skin burned and his head ached, but he had to make it out, or he would never see his mate and child again.